I was trained in the pharmaceutical industry that all drugs are toxins. Don't ever say that a drug is safe. That's not true. And any drug at any time, no matter how innocuous you may consider it to be, could kill anyone depending on their individual biochemical makeup. They could have an adverse reaction. They could have an anaphylactic reaction, which means that the body actually has an allergy to the drug, and they can die. So there's no such thing as a safe drug. Well, I wish that I had $1 for every time that the industry had told me I had to say that the last 10 years that I was a rep. All of a sudden, in 1992, there was a little piece of legislation that was passed called the PDUFA Act, the Prescription Drug Users Fee Act of 1992. In essence, what that did was it opened up the floodgates for the pharmaceutical manufacturers to fund the FDA. Now think about this. In Texas, we would call that the fox mining the hen house. And what these manufacturers have to pay is up to $350,000 per new drug application. So we're not talking chump change here. We're talking an excessive amount of money that the pharmaceutical industry is allowed to put into the FDA. And what that does is it allows the FDA to fast track the pharmaceutical industry's products through the pipeline, through the approval process. So you would think that the FDA would be the entity that would be performing the clinical tests on these drugs, right? But that's not the case. The FDA doesn't perform clinical studies. What the FDA does is they review the manufacturer's clinical studies that they've submitted. The pharmaceutical industry is in the business of disease management and symptoms maintenance. That's what they do, and that's what doctors are trained to do. And so if you go thinking that, into the pharmaceutical industry like I did, that you're there to help people and that's what your motivation is, well, what my first regional manager said to me in my final interview on that question when he says, well, what do you want to join the pharmaceutical industry for? What do you want to get out of this? And I said, oh, I want to help people, And he kind of smiled and he looked at me and he says, well, he said, then if that's the case, you might want to join the Peace Corps. And then he said, but if money is what motivates you, young lady, let me tell you how you can retire a millionaire. And then he turned around and started working on his calculator and telling me about my benefits and everything. And cha-ching, the light went off in my head that, wow, I can really make a lot of money in this business. So I went out there and I was a very good pharmaceutical sales rep. So I don't want anybody in here to think that, oh yeah, well, this girl, she couldn't cut it in the industry, and now, she's bad-mouthing the industry because she couldn't make it. I was the best of the best of the best of the best in that industry. And that's my ego speaking, because that's what the pharmaceutical industry is all about. It's about ego, it's about power, it's about materialism, and it's about making people money. And you are the pawns in that game.